Coldharbor Lore, Part 3. The Library of Dusk, Rare Books, Vault 12, Rare Book Collection, Access Forbidden, Items, The Athendoric's Conundrums by Minphonus, 9 portentous questions with answers known to drive readers insane. The Historic Lays by Unknown, possibly Caliosus or Maricellus. Tales in epic verse recounting the Atmoran folklore of the Cyrenauds. The Gwyllen Praxis by the Aureate Serpent. Methods of draining magicka from intelligent creatures at the moment of death. The Third Scroll of Bandar by Arcan. How the Great Thief stole the 37th lesson from Vivek before he could write it. The Letters of Alessia and Belhazra. Intimate correspondence between the First Empress and the Man-Bull. 11 Other Edicts of the 10 Ancestors by the heretic Lindai. A parody of the classics 11 Edicts, supposing the 10 Ancestors had worshipped Auriel rather than Daedra. Numidium Blueprints by Cagnarak the Engineer. All scrolls missing, reward for recovery. Conversations with the Heart of Lorcan by Pelinal Whitestrake. Ruminations on the nature of Arubis. Warning, probably apocryphal. The Southern Coast as far as the Eastern Sea by Topal the Pilot. Sea Logs of the Great Old Mary Explorer. Insights, Pristine Copy by Shalidor the Archmage. A disquisition on the origin and nature of dragons. The Alessian Doctrines, original manuscript by the monkey prophet Maruk. Screed defining the dogma of the non-elven nature of Akatosh. Studies in Apocrypha by Morian Zenas. A summary of truths learned in Apocrypha that the Zenas refuses to believe, in 14 volumes. Epistolary Acumen by the Transparent One. Forbidden Invocations of Insimural Daedra. Grimoire by Corvus Dureni. Spell Secrets of the Mighty Conjurer. The Tract of Meridnunda, complete by Anonymous. Revelations on the nature of Meridia and the mistake of the conflicting with her in the Star Orphans. The Lusty Argonian Maid, complete. Play. Traditional. Copy out for repair. Accidentally damaged by Librarian. The Art of Love and Swordplay by Fioki the Bard. The popular autobiography of the frisky Nord Fioki, whose exploits are unbelievable but strangely compelling. Not rare, but a perennial favorite here at the library. Kynebriefing for the Lightless, Oubliette. If you've never served a shift in the Lightless Oubliette before, pay close attention, because this is not a place where you want to make a mistake. The LO was specifically constructed as a detention facility for captured servants of the Shining Bitch, and you know how our Dreadlord feels about her. If any of those Aurorans or Lustrants escape on your watch, you'll be lucky to get off with a second-degree gradual discorporation. Now, I don't care how well you know the 701 edicts. I don't care if you can quote chapter and verse from the mandatory codicils. The rules that matter in the Lightless Oubliette are the following. No white or yellow glow crystals to be brought into the facility. This isn't because we like the place to look gloomy, fools. It's because the prisoners can pervert certain spectra of light into working on their behalf. Stick to blue glow crystals for illumination, or, even better, open flame. No torment sport with the prisoners. That includes the Elf King. No, I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Rumor has it that the Dreadlord is planning some sort of nasty surprise for the Shining Bitch, and to pull it off he needs her servants with their bodies intact. Could be true, I don't know. Clean up after yourself. This is a top security facility, so no soul-shriven are allowed in, not even custodians. You make a mess, you clean it up. This includes any bodily fluids spilled during sparring practice. If I find stains on the flagstones again, someone's next shift will be in the scathe rings. The Whithering of Delodiil, author unknown. There was, in those days, a city in the heartland, Delodiil by name, and it was a city of pleasant promenades, of learned scholars, of meticulous artisans and lissome dancers. And also did Delodiil have warriors fierce and proud who protected the promenades and the scholars and the artisans and the dancers. Although the warriors were few, they were bold. Now the people of Delodiil worshipped many gods, for they were devout and held all the divines in reverence. But above all others they did venerate the Lady of Light, building for Meridmunda a chapel of coloured rays and beams, which was for her glory, like a piece of Ethereus brought down to the mortal world. And the people of Delodiil were proud thereon. But across the valley was another city, Arbgalis, which was the darkness as Delodiil was to the light. Now Arbgalis had as many citizens as Delodiil, but few were dancers, artisans, and scholars, because most were warriors, fierce and proud. These warriors were lended to other states and cities for the making of war in return for wealth, and thus did Arbgalis, in its own way, prosper. Now the king of Arbgalis saw the chapel of lights that was the pride of Delodiil, and he said, "Is not Arbgalis as great a city as Delodiil? We shall have a great chapel of our own." And he decreed that much of the wealth of Arbgalis was to be spent in the building of a shrine to his own patron divine, who was the Lord Molag Bal. And the people of Arbgalis reared up a vast shrine to Molag Bal, but they were rude soldiers rather than artisans, and the shrine was misshapen, ill-coloured, and burdensome to look upon. But it was nonetheless larger than Delodiil's chapel of lights, and thus the king of Arbgalis boasted that his city was greater therefore than Delodiil, that the people of Delodiil evinced no dismay, and went about their business as before. And this unconcern of the Delodiils ate a hole into the heart of the king of Arbgalis, and he was vexed unto madness. He sent soldiers to profane the small shrine to Meridmunda in Arbgalis, and then went to his vast shrine to Molag Bal, where he swore a mighty oath. After slaying a family of visiting Delodiils on the altar, the king vowed that he would gather his army, march across the valley, and capture all the Delodiils, sacrificing them to Molag Bal within the chapel of lights. And the king of Arbgalis mustered his soldiers, and on a night in which the skies were lit by a furious racing aurora, he marched them across the valley to Delodiil. But when the king and his army arrived, they found the land empty, for the city of Delodiil was gone, unto every brick, and the king thought he heard laughter in the lights in the skies, mirth that turns to shrieks of fear that came not from above, but from back across the valley. In haste the king marched his soldiers back to his city, but when he arrived at Arbgalis, they found it utterly destroyed, as if by scorching light. And of the families of the soldiers and the king, nothing could be found but their shadows burnt into the walls of the city. Thus Arbgalis. But of the fate of Delodiil, nothing more was known. I hope you've been enjoying these lore readings, and if you have, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Also, come follow me over on twitch.tv/ICYIC, where I stream the Elder Scrolls Online 4 days a week. I'd love to see you there. Thanks for watching.